right, welcome to Hitches, Nova's favorite football podcast. Coach Mesa, how's it going today, buddy?
It's going well. It's going well. Lots of football, college football, high school football, lightning. It's anarchy out there. I mean, can it get any stranger? It's second year in a row, right? With lightning delays. Second year in a row.
We predicted that. We said, did we not say that last show? We could see a repeat of the stormy opening day, and we did. We saw a repeat of stormy opening day.
And with was it week 4 last year, where everybody had to play on had to do a continuation,
right?
It's kind of like watching an episode of Batman from '66, right?
Yeah. Tune in. Yeah.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah, no, they kind of a crazy storms. It's still kind of been raining off and on the last couple of days, and but we are now in September, my friend. In September. Now it all starts. Now it gets real. Now it gets real.
A lot of exciting games too. A lot of last second wins. I mean, it was crazy. And now I think we're going to starting to shape up. The scrimmages are one thing, but I think round it's starting to shape up where you're going to be able to see exactly where these teams stand. Right? There's no playing guys for a half or moving guys in and out. Now it's as Ricky Bobby would say, we're playing for keeps.
Yes,
playing for keeps.
We are playing for keeps, buddy. We are. And speaking of playing for keeps, right? I mean, how about we put it out yesterday. We got players of the week.
Yeah.
Man, and it was tough. You and I talked about this and we named one for every conference. So, and coaches out there, players, parents, when we do the games, going forward, make sure if you think your son had or daughter had a great game and you want to send it out to us and here's their stat line, here's some highlights, send it to us, DM it to us, whatever it takes.
And so when we do the podcast on football, this week I sent out to coaches out there, trying to get some player of the weeks in boys and girls volleyball and field hockey. We sent some things out there, because we're trying to get everybody highlighted. You and I are I don't want to say our expertise. We know more about football than we do about field hockey. We do volleyball, so it's a little easier for us to kind of pick it out. And I do feel like football players, for the most part, are more active on social media, so it's easiest for us to pick up. And we do watch quite a bit of games. Now we don't watch all the games. I talk about before. Myself and Coach Dash here. We are educators first. That is how we get paid, and we are doing this for fun. Or is that why we're doing this?
I mean, it's fun. It's a hobby. It's become challenging as well.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think that's all part of why we do it, right? I mean, it's fun for us. It's fun to see the community get kind of pumped up about it.
Yeah.
It's also fun to be challenged like this.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of reasons why we do it, it's a lot. I'm going to say this. I'm glad you brought that up. This is it's been a lot more exciting.
Yeah.
Right. And challenging than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. I'm loving it. I'm loving every second of it. It really
absolutely.
It's replaced that kind of coaching void. People ask me, do you miss coaching this year? And the answer would have been a lot more yes if it wasn't for this.
Yeah. Now what I'm excited about is putting out those articles on those kids. I think this is probably the first time, right? And I mean, since I've lived here, that there are going to be articles written about players of the week. And we got so I do have a couple. I do have 2 field hockey ones coming out from the Liberty and the Concord, and I'll announce those probably tomorrow. And then one boys volleyball, I believe, from McLean. That'll come out. But we're going to be featuring six guys who had fantastic games, and I think we talked before. Our emphasis is not on the outside stuff, right? There's a lot of outside stuff. Our emphasis is on putting focus on players who are very deserving of some recognition. And I think the 6 that we picked, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy
at all.
And we didn't have all the information because it's just you and I. It's just we are a 2-man band and we can't be everywhere. And it does help. Again, if you tweet at us, give us their stats. I currently have bought another program in order to be able to get a video off of Twitter, so that way I'm going to be able to put some of their highlights on their articles as well. But yeah, you got to tweet at us, let us know. Yeah. The easiest thing also would be to DM us and put us in the mentions, because if you just put your stats out there, us trying to comb through everything on there is really difficult. For example, our 2 plays of the week we'll talk about later. Luckily, they mentioned us, so I was able to find it really quickly. I know I have some other good plays, but just trying to comb through it, just the massive amount of people that we follow makes it really difficult. But I'm excited about these players of the week, and so I don't know. You want to get into it and start talking about each one?
So we'll start right at the Patriot. We'll start at the Patriot, and we'll work our way down. Man, a lot of tough decisions to make in all these conferences, but we ended up going with the runaway beer truck. Yeah, JT Bordeaux. All right, talk about that.
I mean,
what did he do?
So one, can we call a kid who's not?
Well, it's actually when your last name is Bordeaux, he's actually a runaway wine truck. I'll tell you what, like a Bordeaux. Like a Bordeaux, he might get better and better each week.
Oh, better with age, right? This week we're just taking the cork off, right?
That's right. That's right. That's what the Bordeaux going to get better. If he gets better and better each week, everyone's in trouble. Because 100 plus yards, 2 TDs.
Yeah, 16 carries, 6.7 yards a carry.
Wow.
And this week he was probably with the massive amount of weapons they have there at Braddock. He's the one who stood out. Right. and this is high school football. And if you can run the ball in high school football, you're doing pretty well. Yeah. And 16, 107, 6.7 carries, 3 touchdowns. Yep. Almost a Bundy. Almost he was one away from getting a Bundy, which we saw one live and in color. Right. But huge week. Hopefully we're able to get his article back on him this weekend. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty exciting.
All right, and then Concord District. We went Sahir Mantry. We kind of saw that coming, right? Sahir Mantry.
Yeah. I mean, he had a huge first half. Do you remember what his stats were for the first half? I mean, because he's played a half.
7 for 7. 200 plus yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean,
that's crazy.
What a half. I mean, what's that? Something almost like a 20-yard
30-ish, right? 30-ish per pass.
Yeah. I mean, and we talked before
in a half, right? If they kept on, if they had a lead, they kind of ran the ball. But if they decided to throw the ball, I mean, you could have had a 400 or 500 yard day.
Yeah, big one, and it was his kind of coming out party, right? This is his chance now to carry the football team. And again, he looked really good. Now we did have a tough choice. We went with Mantry. I know that you said when you watched the Madison game that Nicely looked like had a pretty big game against a really good opponent.
Yeah, Nicely looked good. I got to talk to the Madison people out there. Get us that Nicely nomination in. Yeah. I hadn't seen Nicely's stat breakdown until after all the votes came in. But I think if we had Nice, he would have been higher up in the conversation, easy, if we would have known more about his game when all the votes came in. So get your players get those votes in for those players, because Nicely, and I think we'll be seeing Nicely a lot this season.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Definitely
outstanding.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
Liberty, and again, a few people in the Liberty that could have gotten that award, but we went with young Johnny Callow, not Gallo, Callow. I love my cousin Vinny references there, buddy.
Yeah, so he was another guy who did not throw the ball a ton, but he 6 for 8 for 173. So per completion, that's another guy at about a 30-yard clip for 3 touchdowns, again in one half.
Right.
My guess is Coach Bachman, an old school coach, probably took the foot off the gas, which some coaches would not. I mean, again, another guy who, if he keeps on going at that rate, you're talking about a 400-yard game, probably 7 touchdowns. Looking really good. And he's definitely going to be one of the. He's going to be the straw that stirs the drink over there in Herndon for sure.
National, and we were at this one. We're going to talk more about these games, obviously. Isaiah French. He had a heck of a game. Field general out there, man. Talk about it.
Yeah. So what was his final stat line? I can't remember.
28 of 34, 300 plus yards, 4 touchdowns. Man.
Yeah. Now there were a lot of guys picking Hayfield. I think we were there. We live tweeted out.
Young Overton could have. Overton could have gotten it. You could have given
Overton got a Bundy, right? He got
the Al Bundy. Yes, he did.
He got the Al Bundy at the 4 touchdowns in one half. It took Al Bundy 4 quarters in order to get that.
It took Al Bundy, the legend from Polk High, a legend.
Yeah. He had a huge game. Now, another reason why we picked French. So we had a chance to talk to some of the guys with the Chain Gang.
Yeah.
And they could not say enough kind things about his character.
Yeah.
They talked about, the way he was with his teammates, his respect to everybody in the sideline.
Field general, a real field general.
A field general, kind of telling guys where to be, talking to kids in the sideline, what to do. Talking to there was a kid holding the chains, and he was like, "Hey, when I'm coming really quick, you might want to get out of the way." And he wasn't saying it, like a jerk. He was saying like,
right.
"Hey, I'm looking out for you."
He was saying there's a guy named Coach Mesa who was injured last year. He said you don't want to be like that. You don't want to be like that guy.
I did have to hold. Yeah, you don't want to be like me. I did have to hold the sticks for that game, but that's one of the big reasons why we picked him as well. He had a huge stat line. I don't know if I did not know he was that big. I mean, his arm is amazing. I mean, he looks like he's everything everybody kind of heard about, right? But to talk about just kind of his character, on that team, and this is not to say that and we'll talk about the Hayfield game in a little bit, but to hear about how he was on the sideline, how he was with his teammates, I think speaks a lot for, the way he is. I mean, this is a credit to his family. I mean, it's credit to the coaching staff to have foster that kind of environment. So, I think that, there's something to be said when an opposing, someone who is not on your side speaks highly of your character. Anybody can talk about character of the kids that they like, but it's another thing when people who don't know you are like, that's right. A good kid. That's a good kid right there.
And 28 to 34. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, 7 of 7. We talked about earlier, 6 of 8. But when you're throwing 34 times to be that efficient and complete 28 of them, those are 6 stats.
That's high praise, my friend.
Yeah, it is. All right, so we go to the Cardinal, man, and a lot of respect to the Cardinal and Cedar Run so far from what we saw yesterday. We got Troy Hamlin. I got 5 TDs for young Troy Hamlin.
Five. Now I've after seeing Garfield against Braddock, I'm pretty high on them.
You were a big Garfield guy. You were.
Yeah, I'm pretty big on him, and I think that'll reflect when we do our power rankings this week.
Yeah.
5 touchdowns. He looked really good. And when you're the quarterback, right? And when you're the quarterback out there, he's not a senior. I believe he's a junior.
Yeah.
This year. He looked really good, and it looks like him and Jackson in the backfield are going to be pretty deadly this year. Jackson is definitely a guy we talked about, but when you're the quarterback, you have a lot of pressure, and and we saw some young quarterbacks this year, and we could tell that it was kind of tough on him this year.
Yeah,
young quarterbacks, but he definitely looked the role.
Yeah, I think you're right. Herman Jackson's another one that we'll probably be calling his name. We could be saying paging Mr. Herman a few times this season, right? Because he'll be up there in the running for Player of the Week, I'm sure, at some point.
Right.
And then last one, Cedar Run. Holy smokes, Jackson McCarter lived up to everything I had heard, all the hype and so much more. Yeah,
21 carries for 218, 5 touchdowns. I mean, he definitely does look the role out there. I do think, and we'll talk about when we get to the to our rankings. Cedar Run's top 3 are a murderer's row. I mean, they're pretty good. But 28, 21, and he wasn't playing a lesser opponent out there. Right. I mean, they're playing Westfield, and Westfield has some good. And I think his first carry of the game, I think, was a 55-yard touchdown.
Yeah,
he looks big and strong and hard to bring down, and we're definitely going to see. I mean, again, 21 for 218 against a pretty good opponent.
Yeah,
I think that he's going to be a pretty impressive player.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, well let's jump into how about plays of the week? You got any nominations for plays of the week?
So I think I put out there on our social media just a little while ago. We actually have 2. So there was 2 that I liked a lot, that we both liked a lot. One was from Owen Morris. out of Edison, where he had an 80-yard touchdown. At the very end, he puts a move on DB that definitely is gonna. I'm sure that's gonna make their highlight film. I'm sure it's gonna make his highlight film. Was pretty good. And then we had another run. Then we had another one. It was a run by a running back out of McLean, Noah Yander. I think it's probably a soft J. It might be Jander. I don't know.
Okay.
But he had a 55-yard touchdown, broke a tackle in the backfield, broke another tackle, and then just shot past everybody.
Wow.
Which was pretty good. What helped us out, if you want to find those, is that they put us in the mention on their thing, so it made it easier for us to find. Again, I found another program that I'm able to rip these off the Twitter pretty quickly. So before, when we were first trying to do this, and they had to kind of email me the stuff and made it kind of difficult. Now I've again invested more money, which I'm sure my wife is going to be quite pleased with. Investing more money into this hobby.
It's for the children, like a young. Was it Whitney Houston? You're doing it for the children.
We believe the children are our future. So we're able to get those, but definitely, you got to add us, send us a DM with it, and we'll consider you all for plays of the week. Who knows? Maybe we might get 5 or 6. We'll put so because those two are really good, we put a vote out on the website right now, which currently I'm looking at, and let's see, we have over 150 right now. People have gone to the website, already voted. I think we're probably getting voting tonight at midnight.
Yeah, I saw the Edison football account was trying to get Edison, full body to kind of come out and vote for it. So we'll see how that voting shakes out.
Yeah, so it's going to be pretty exciting to see how this is our first time trying this. Once again, it's a work in progress. Definitely a work in progress. Let's see right now. Oh, right now, Owen Morris is pulling back. For a while, Jander or Yander. Okay. I don't know if the soft J was out to a big lead, but it looks like Morris is starting to pull even again, starting to pull back a little bit.
I like that.
Has decreased the lead a little bit. So
Owen Morris.
Zach
Morris getting all the votes. President. I think Zach Morris once led his Bayside High team to a championship too, buddy. So.
Let me ask you. Do you remember the original name of Saved by the Bell back when it was before it was Saved by the Bell sitcom?
No, it was in middle school. It wasn't even at the high school. No, I don't. Don't know. What was wasn't it like the teacher's name or something?
I think it was Good Morning, Miss Bliss.
Yeah. See, that's correct. I think that's
now
correct.
I do have a connection to Saved by the Bell. Tiffany Thiessen went to my middle school.
Really?
Yes, she did. I remember when she was getting ready. I remember she was an office aide. I don't think you guys have office aides here in California. We have them, and like one of their periods, like you can be a teacher's aide and an office aide. And I remember she walked by, and they were like, "Hey, I hear you're dropping out." She's like, "Yeah, I'm going to start filming my TV show pretty soon." Yeah. So
there's one of my childhood crushes right there, buddy. Childhood crushes.
Another Long Beach great. I'm just saying we do produce a lot of stuff out of Long Beach.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here we go. We're going to get into it, buddy. We're going to get into it. A great slate of games. We highlighted our Fab Five, which we'll do every week. Going into it. Some of those didn't get played because they had to be rescheduled and which is a bummer, but I guess those games we'll get to later. But as far as the ones that did play, let's start off here with let's go Patriot versus Westfield.
Yeah, I mean, what a
Westfield.
I mean, it was a game of two heavyweights, and man. So we talked. I know you talked about Langley and their triplets, but Patriot between McCarter, between McCarter and the quarterback Newton, or is it Knutson?
Yeah. Knutson or Knutson? Yeah.
Sure and then the wide receiver Noakes. I mean, I don't know how you play with those guys. I mean, they are explosive. I mean, you got to come stop the run with McCarter. You do that, Noakes is going to go by you. The quarterback's really good. I was thoroughly impressed with that team. Now, while the final score ended up being towards the end,
final score was 41-24.
Yeah, so Westfield started making a comeback late in the game.
But I jotted this down though. It was 41-10 with 6 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah, but a credit to Bosler, right? Credit to Coach Bosler.
Didn't give up.
Yeah, I mean, keeping his team going. I mean, it had to be pretty tough, playing a really quality Patriot team. But he didn't give up. They kept on coming back. But Patriot just looks so explosive. I mean, and they can get you at any moment. And they weren't just driving the field; they were hitting them with huge chunk plays. And Westfield did have their chances in the game. I mean, they had a big kickoff that got on the 20-yard line.
Yes,
they got a penalty, and I couldn't make out what the penalty was. My guess it was some kind of unsportsmanlike conduct. It looked like, because it pushed them back. But it was a team like Patriot. You really got to take advantage of the opportunities when you have it, because if you don't, they're definitely going to make you pay just because of how talented they are.
Yeah, no, I agree. You nailed Patriot in a nutshell with the triplets, man, and Nixon. I mean, throwing lasers.
Yeah,
Carter wasn't running for 40, 50-yard touchdown runs. I mean, outstanding. But like you said, Westfield though had. I mean, there was some moments, man. One, they didn't give up. Right? Didn't give up. Two, remember they're kind of learning the new offense there, right? It's going to take time. And you had the big KOR, big kick return by Westfield.
Yeah,
could have scored there. They moved it. They got down, to the red zone. Now they didn't always score early in that game, but they got down there. So there are some positives, right? There are some positives there.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
They got on the scoreboard right before half. I think, what was it? 20-10 at halftime.
Yeah. No, it was a close game.
There's definitely a lot to if you're Westfield and you're Coach Voss, there's a lot to take away. One, you played a top tier opponent.
Yeah.
Top tier opponent. And you battled in that game. You battled, right? You battled in the first half, and then the second half to the final whistle you battled.
Yeah. And I think with Patriots sometimes with the amount of talent they have, you're gonna have to weather the storm, right?
Yes.
You're gonna have to weather the storm a little bit against them.
And I think it was that Hill, or who was that? Who was the receiver over there? Number 11. Is it number 11? Is that the receiver for
Patriot?
Yeah.
No, that's that Noakes kid. I think his last name is Noakes.
Yeah, no. Is he number 11?
He's number 11. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was Noakes. Man, that was a sick catch he had for that one touchdown.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, they definitely have a lot going on at Patriot this year.
Right. But I think it's only going to make you, if you're Westfield, you walk away. And both teams, I mean, you want to play top tier opponents, right? Yeah. That's only going to help Patriot playing a team like Westfield later on, and that's only going to help Westfield playing a team like Patriot later on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Well, next one we got here is Soco Robinson. Battle of two heavyweights.
Yeah. So I know you watched quite a bit of that. What'd you think? What were your thoughts on it?
I did, and so a couple things. Soco scored. I think they had 22 points. I think in the first quarter, like if not by early second. So all 22 of those points were scored really early in that game. Yeah. And then it became a defensive just battle.
Yeah,
I mean, total defensive battle. Seeing 22 points in the first quarter, I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be a high scoring game. But it really wasn't. Two tough defenses. I was impressed by Robinson's defense. We've talked about this. Their offense, kind of talk about Westfield, they're learning a new offense, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to take some time. And they're playing against a top tier Soco defense as well, led by Hunter Malecki. I saw those stats. Someone get those stats to us. I know it was offensive heavy on our player of the week, but if I would have been sent, Hunter Malecki and a couple other guys, defensive stats, they might have been in the runnings for player of the week.
Yeah, and you gotta get them to us early, right? Because we do have other things to do besides podcasts, put things out there. So
because Hunter Malecki had a great game, leading the way with that tough defense. Now a couple of things with South County that I didn't know we didn't know. We talked about this all offseason. They had the young quarterback that they like in Mesa, the sophomore. But were they going to kind of give him time to kind of slowly integrate him? Or were they going to put him in right away? And they decided to kind of go the slow route. And Tyler Orth, the receiver, the all conference receiver last year, played a lot of quarterback.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you really want to put the ball in your best player's hands, right? So and try to find any way you can to put it in his hands. And what better way to do that than on the snap on the start of the ball, on the start of the play right there, right?
Yeah, he looked good. It kind of reminded me a couple of years ago with Miska's older brother, who was kind of a running back, and when he became a quarterback, he started he actually played really well running that option. So maybe Orth does that this year for them.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably going to transition the way the offense that they did for the last couple of years, and then yeah, we'll definitely see it, probably new look South County this year, right?
Yeah, no, I think so. I mean, I did want to talk about Orth had the big, and then the other one I was impressed by was the running back. I was at number 30 for South County. That is Thief, and I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. CF Karoma. Holy smokes, man! You got to with Orth running that option and Karoma as the tailback, you got something there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach Pannoni is an old veteran coach who knows how to put guys in the right position. Now, you did bring some also. Any coaches out there, if you have rosters, please get it to us. I really have trying to comb through stuff, trying to figure out, hey, who's number 7? And then you go to back to backs and they have 6 number 7s. And so I don't know who they are. So if you have rosters, send it to us.
Speaking of Coach Pannoni in that game, the old Wiley special teams specialist.
Yeah.
He was that first touchdown that South County scored. I remember I was watching the game. You had already seen it, right?
Yeah.
Talk about it. You had already seen it, and you're like, hey, they're about to score right here. I'm like, no, really?
Yeah. We'll watch it, and Coach Pannoni's got a bunch of special teams tricks up his sleeve. That's one thing that's pretty well known for is excellence on special teams. And so it's I don't know if I was playing Coach Pannoni if I would ever call it a special teams. I would just leave my defense in the field and been like, yeah, well, let's just play defense and see what happens, right?
I agree with you. All right, man. So that was a good one. 22-9 was the final. Like I said, Robo, tough defense, and they're going to get that offense going. It's going to take a little time.
Yeah. We have a
guest.
Yeah, we have Adam Hazara. Adam, am I saying your name correctly? Adam?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. Adam currently does a little broadcasting there for Lake Braddock. Correct? You're a student at Braddock, and you work on their broadcast team for the football games.
That's true.
Okay. So myself and Coach Dash were not at the Brad Colgan game. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened? Give your thoughts on it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Coach Mesa. So Lake Braddock won 64-20. Big offensive explosion over the Colgan Sharks. Great way to start off the season, of course, for a team that's looking to repeat as a region champion. Very dominant rushing performance, 6 touchdowns. Free, of course, from Beer Truck, as you guys have called him, JT Bordeaux. 3 touchdowns, 16 carries, 107 yards, 6.7 yards per attempt. I do want to – so he's amazing. One of the big pieces for Bruins this year, of course. And then I do want to touch on a new guy from Patriot, Peyton Holmes. Talk about debut he had, 61 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, and then 7.6 per carry. So him and Bordeaux – really the duo looking for. Ty Jackson got near rushing touchdown. Robert Halloween on receiving end, 69 receiving yards, 3 catches, receiving touchdown. Very underrated receiver for Bruins alongside Maine and Austin, of course. And then very fun start to the game in that first half where the Bruins scored those 2 kick return touchdowns. One from the great Kai Austin. He's something special. And then, oh yeah. And then Xavier Baravino, the junior, kick return touchdown, first touchdown of the season for the Lake Braddock Bruins. A guy this year is really trying to make a bigger name for himself, and he just started off that game with a bang. And, I want to touch on that first half. First half, kind of similar to that opening game last year, was really close. Of course, last year was 2019. So Bruins leading going into that halftime last year. This year was, I believe, 27-20. And there was a couple points where that Colgan team was showing some grit. They were leading the Bruins a couple times. And then Lake Braddock, we're trying to kind of figure out that new look defense. Of course, they lost a lot of defensive players. Trent Payne, Xavier Maine, a couple of their key returners. But again, a lot of holes to fill with that defense coming into this year. And, going to that second half, they went into a locker room during halftime and, they're saying, okay, we got to really figure something out to really get on track of what we really need to do to win this game. And that's what they did. Didn't allow any points in the second half to the Sharks. Same thing did last year. They didn't allow any points in the second half after allowing 19 that game, 20 this game. And then the Bruins, they were keeping up good with the offensive pace. And then they broke out, really got a big lead in the third quarter, scoring 34 points. And then from there, they just never looked back. Bruins win 64-20 and good momentum going into that game next week versus a very good Madison team. Of course, they beat that StoneBridge team, who's always a big power in Virginia high school football. And so, I'm really looking forward to that. That'll be our first game I'll be commentating this season as well.
All right. Well, first of all, let me thank Adam for coming out here, our Lake Braddock correspondent. Adam is, I like that. And, Lake Braddock does have as Adam knows this, they do have a rich history with, broadcasting and that kind of thing. So we're excited to have you on, Adam. So, Adam, kind of uncanny, right, that it was very similar first halves.
Yeah, I mean, it was like to me, it was a fairy tale, Again, this is just kind of a year, similar to last year, we were kind of going into last year, without always D1 guys like D-Pop, Elliot Miney, and, a lot of guys like that. And, we it was all about, trying to figure ourselves out, and trying to kind of make our identity in that game. And just, again, just really trying to figure out who we were on offense. And, because we bring more defense players back last year. This year's complete opposite. We're bringing more offensive players back than defensive. The defense really had to figure it out too. This time they had to kind of write their own story in that game.
Sure. Coach Mesa?
Yeah. Did anybody from Colgan impress you? Was in that first half? Was anyone? I know you probably don't know names from Colgan, but was there anyone who's kind of stood out? Running back, quarterback that you saw that you thought looked pretty good.
Overall, I just think George Hall, of course, one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the class of 26, according to a Prep Red Zone. Of course, I know you guys had Carl on here a few times, and he's spoken very highly of Colgan. I liked how George Hall looked. Definitely is a piece for that future for that Colgan team. I think they're going to be going places, of course, with Cardinal District and Freedom Woodbridge getting a lot weaker this year. Colgan, I think, really being up there, it's going to be a fun Colgan team to watch. Coach Jock was praising them for them being very athletic, which I think they were for, and they showed, they showed some grit.
Awesome. Yeah, we appreciate you having you on. We'll probably bring you on a few other times this year, man. That was awesome, man.
Yeah, we do appreciate having you and your colleague John Fedor kind of giving us some play-by-play on social media.
Yeah, that was awesome. So, well, all right, Adam, we appreciate you, and we'll definitely be talking to you again soon, man.
All right, it was great. Thank you, guys.
All right, take care.
Yep, you too. Thank you.
All right, our Lake Braddock correspondent, Adam Hazara, working hard. I think maybe a future, we call Carl Frederick Adam Schefter. This guy could be the next John Clayton of Nova.
John Clayton.
A great John Clayton.
With the rat tail on the back. Mom, where's the meatloaf?
I loved it. Who didn't love John Clayton? All right, let's get to the next game here. We just did at Soco. He kind of went over the Braddock game versus Colgan. And let's go one of our games of the week that actually did happen because some of them didn't. They postponed them. Langley versus Oakton. Now, weird one here. This one was not on NFHS. Kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
But we were able to kind of piece things together through social media. Yeah. And some people did a good job of live tweeting the game and stuff. Your boy had a big one. Talk about it.
Oh, Ronkovitz, the Ronk.
Ronkovitz, yeah.
The Ronk, yeah. He looks like he had a pretty big game. He's gonna be what's gonna make that engine go at Langley, I think, and against a defense that you are pretty big fan of.
Yeah, I mean that game was it was tight. It was at halftime. It was 14, so 14-0 at half. 2 scores to 0 at half. Like I said, I didn't see it, so I'm just going by reports. And box scores that I was able to see. Ronkovitz had both the touchdowns. Yeah. Okay. He also had an interception in the first half. I think that was in scoring territory. Oakton was making a drive. I think you had said you had seen Oakton was driving a couple times, and things just didn't go their way.
Yeah. Now I'm curious. We didn't get a chance to see it, and maybe someone can tweet out how the quarterback did. But he's a sophomore, and you and I we had talked years ago. When I was coaching your son. As a sophomore, I was like, sophomore quarterbacks, it's really tough. It's probably the toughest thing to start at as a sophomore. Oddly enough, I think that offensive line. Right. Because for the offensive linemen, the physicality of the defensive linemen are so much different than they've seen before. And for quarterback, the speed of coverages and the way things happen really quickly is so much faster than the freshman level. Those two positions in particular, I think it's easier to be a sophomore on defense than it is to be a sophomore on offense. offensive line and quarterback in particular, just because of for the offensive lineman, the physicality. I mean, it's just a puberty, right?
Yeah.
How strong you are at 15 and how strong you are at 18 are two different things.
Right. Mentally and physically.
Mentally and physically, right? Just the physical manifestation.
The physical part is bad enough.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's tough enough. And then for the quarterback mentally, because things are happening in a hurry, and the pressure that comes on you at freshman, a lot of quarterbacks can just run away from the linemen because they're still big and uncoordinated. At the varsity level, especially at the 6A level, it makes it really difficult. Yeah. So I'm curious how he played. And this is not saying that he played poorly, but it's just saying that your first start as a sophomore can't be easy for sure.
Right. And then the other quarterback, the senior, Sandberg for Langley, obviously their plays were on the ground. Their scoring plays were on the ground. Still, I'd be interested to know his stats. We didn't get any of the stats. So Langley guys, get those stats into us, because Ronkovich could have been one of the guys. He could have been Liberty player of the week. To your point though.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, to your point on that, part of that with the sophomore quarterback, coaching's so important. Coaching's always important, but it's so important, right? Because you need to be mindful of those things you just mentioned. Yeah. You can't just be like, hey, I got a sophomore quarterback, he'll figure it out, and just throw that kid in there. You got to be delicate. You got to be smart about how you handle it. I was talking to my son over the weekend because we were talking about some of these games, and he mentioned that his coordinator at the time, his great offensive coordinator, someone who might have been Coach Mesa. And he said Coach Mesa did a good job of kind of talking to us in the offseason, getting plays in there that he felt comfortable with, that he could run. I mean, you also got to be mindful of what's my young guy's skill set,
Right.
Does he have an emergency plan? Plan when I get to the line of scrimmage? They're sending the dogs at me right now. What am I doing? As my coach kind of prepared me for this moment, where's my hot release, that kind of thing. So I think you kind of did a fine job, and coach has got to keep that in mind. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And on the other side with Sandberg, I do think being a high level lacrosse player, if you play at a high level, right, you're not as taken back. Now, I know he's a senior, and I'm not sure if he started last year. I can't remember not whether he started last year. Yeah. But I think that when you are when you have that level of competition, when you play at a varsity level athlete, regardless of the level, I think is going to be a little easier to kind of roll into, right? So if you have a kid who's kind of competed at a high level, whether it's basketball, baseball, whatever, I think that, being able to adjust to that, I think is an advantage. So for those of you guys out there, play other sports, play them at a high level, and it'll help you prepare you for whatever you're going to do later on.
Right. Well, and then we had another game of the week. And by the way, the final score of that game was 17-0. Another game of the week that we had talked about, I know it was your game of the week. You were really excited about it, was Mount Vernon, the Battle of the Highway, Mount Vernon versus West Potomac. Now, that didn't happen, right?
Yeah. They're not going to play. They moved that till October.
That's what someone said. That's what somebody said.
I thought I heard they're going to play in October. They're going to play 2 in a week. As Coach Dash likes to play when they're playing when you guys are playing wiffle ball. Let's play
Ernie Banks. Let's play 2. Ernie Banks. All right. Now, was that it for our games of the week, or is there one that I'm?
No, you're missing a big one that we were at live and in person.
I am missing a big one. I was kind of joking. Is that it? Are we done? I don't even need my notes for that one, my friend, because like you said, we were there on the field, little field passes. Yeah.
It was West Springfield West Springfield hosting Hayfield.
Yeah.
And Hayfield is as good as advertised. I mean, man, they're good. Now, before we get into the flowers for Hayfield, which I'd imagine we're going to be talking a lot about how good Hayfield was, I was really impressed with West Springfield's defense. They made Hayfield earn it.
Yeah.
It was not 80-yard touchdown, 80-yard touchdown, 80-yard touchdown. They made them drive the field. And against a team that talented, that is not an easy task.
Yeah.
Those DBs kept those guys in front of them. I was really, like I said, I was impressed defensively with their game plan, and they were able. Now, Hayfield started figuring out after a while, and they started dinking dunking them, hitting small little passes, and they have some explosive guys who can. But
you have to play off. You got to play off.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think we talked about Ordonez. Man, that game's really. I am so sorry we got his first name wrong. but man, that kid is talented. I mean, again, another set of triplets, right? We talked about Patriot and how much we kind of like them as triplets, but with French, Overton, and Ordonez. Ooh,
that really is Aikman, Emmett, and Irvin right there.
Yeah,
that's tough to stop.
And yeah, so I was really impressed with that. The other part I was really impressed with is Hayfield's defensive line.
Yeah,
man. Yeah. I think what really hurt West Springfield is Walrath having to exit the game early. It's a guy that they're really depending on.
Dude, they were getting so much heat. They were getting so much heat on him.
Yeah, I hope he's able to kind of get himself back into back in the field. He went out with an injury. I hope he's okay. Because
he hurt his hand. It looked like when you and I could.
It looked like they're working on something. We don't know. Yeah. He didn't come back for the rest of the game. I don't want to see. I want to see good football, teams being healthy all the way through. And my hope is that he's okay, because West Springfield's a pretty talented football team.
Yeah,
pretty talented football team. Unfortunately, they went against what is the best team in Northern Virginia right now.
Right.
They were really talented. I was really impressed with the D line. And so I'm going to say this. I'm sure it might rub some people the wrong way when I say this, but I think that Coach Overton and his crew have a reputation. And I'll tell you right now, for myself, I didn't see that at all. I saw, we saw these kids were respectful. There wasn't a lot of trash talk going on. They kind of came in almost a business-like mentality, and kind of came in there and just kind of took care of things. So unfortunately, there's a lot of noise on the outside. I think Coach Overton talked about it a little bit, about who he is and kind of how they are. And I'm sure we heard about instances with Freedom. I can't say anything because I never personally saw it. I can just say it's the first time I watched Coach Overton's team play, and they seem to be, the rumors about how they are seems at this point, at least for me, I've seen them once. I'm sure other people would be like, "Well, this, and this," but I'm just telling you what I saw, and it seemed like they were very much in control. There wasn't, in fact, I saw Coach Overton jump on a kid once. There was some kind of incident. I saw him kind of jump on him a little bit, kind of read the riot act. We were standing right there for it. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I was impressed with both squads.
Classy, right? I mean, they were classy. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I agree with everything you said about the game and the coaching. I mean, it was a classy, everything. I mean, West Springfield did a good job hosting it. I know they had a huge crowd on before the storm out.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, right? Is that we didn't get that atmosphere.
It's kind of a bummer because the atmosphere was like it was cooking for football.
Yeah.
And you get a Saturday morning game. It's just not as exciting. We were there. It was fun. But it's just the buzz is not there the way it is on a Friday night, obviously.
Right.
But they did a good job kind of quickly getting everything ready for the next day. And at that both teams, I mean, like I said, West Springfield, that's a team to look out for. I mean, in the Patriot,
absolutely.
That's a tough team. And Hayfield, obviously, good as advertised, right? Good as advertised.
Yeah.
They did a great job. And I'm a man of my word. And I said it. And Coach Overton didn't let me forget it. Coach Jeffrey Overton didn't let me forget it.
Yeah, he didn't let you forget that at all. I just want to say that was Coach Dash. That was not me. So the views expressed by Coach Dash are his alone, and did not represent the.
Hey, look, the big boys do play out here in the Patriot. Now, you came out and what you did, you body slammed Andre the Giant, right? I use my wrestling quotes, right? Andre the Giant is a big boy. The Hulk Hogan body slammed him. And it doesn't mean that the big boys aren't playing out here. It just means you came out and you body slammed the big boy. So, and honestly, and again, another mea culpa, which is very rare. You're going to get two for the price of one from me. And we'll talk more about it when we go over some of the other games in a second here.
Yeah.
Cardinal District impressed the heck out of me. There's some big boys playing out in the Cardinal. So you got a mea culpa from me, Coach. That doesn't happen all the time. So you appreciate that one.
Just ask Mrs. Dash.
That's right. The apologies don't come easy for me. But you know what? It was an awesome performance. And I'm gonna hype it up, man. And Coach Overton and I talked and he said, he's like some of that podcast talk, right? And I'm like, yeah, of course it is. This is fun, and I'm trying to hype these games up, trying to hype the kids up, trying to get everyone excited about the football around here. And when you are a team with that has the greatest show on turf reputation that Hayfield does, and we got to make it fun. We got to sell the circus, man. People want to go and watch the people do the what do they call the trapeze artists, right?
The big top.
Yeah, people want to watch the big top, and so I'm just trying to say, hey, come over here, watch the big top. This is gonna be fun.
You are the Don King of Nova football.
You know I'm a De La Hoya guy. We're running Golden Boy promotions over here. I'm a De La Hoya, but yeah, I got. We're trying to have some fun. We're trying to promote it, that kind of thing. So awesome work, and the final score of that game was 48-7, late touchdown. By,
48-7.
And I thought, and I could be wrong because we left in the third quarter. I thought Walrath did come back and throw a touchdown pass.
Did he? Okay. Yeah, I
that was reported to us. That could have been incorrect, right? That could have been incorrect, but that's what was reported to us. So we'll find out. If anyone has info on that, let us know.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? There was one more game actually, buddy. We did not of the Fab Five. Because only one of the Fab Five didn't play. That was Mount Vernon. The other game was Madison StoneBridge.
Oh, yeah. I know you got a chance to catch that one. What'd you think? I know you were really impressed with Madison. You were really impressed with Madison.
Wow, what a ball game. Two tough teams, man. Maybe it's and with my joke from earlier about the big boys. Maybe it's the maybe Concord, the SEC of Nova football, right? They held true right there. Madison looking like Alabama. I mean, to play StoneBridge, and they won 17-0 to shut out StoneBridge in week one. That's a statement, buddy. That's a big statement. First off of the play of the game, if I'm not mistaken, by Madison is a 40-yard run, touchdown run? No, 30-yard run right out of the gates by Nicely. So it wasn't a touchdown run, but it's a big gainer, and that's a sign of things to come, right? Madison with Nicely had a couple touchdowns. He looked solid. StoneBridge had some turnovers. They did drive the field, and they had some key turnovers in the end zone. But that's Madison's defense. You and I talked about it. 10 of 11 returning starters on that team.
Yeah. And when you're playing a quality opponent, we talked a little about Patriot Westfield, right? When you're in a heavyweight match, the team that makes the mistakes is the team that usually ends up losing. When you're playing a big opponent, you turn over the football, you don't take advantage of when you can. It heightens the pressure on you, and it lessens the pressure on the other team. So I think that's pretty big.
Nicely with the 50-yard touchdown again, and there was another interception late that kind of sealed the game for Madison at 17-0. I can't say enough good things about and then StoneBridge. StoneBridge also went for a few fourth downs early back in their own territory that they might have regretted because it was a good defensive battle all in all. And I think they handed some short fields to Madison a couple times. They probably didn't need to do that. But it was a battle. And with StoneBridge, I do wonder, I know we're not covering Loudon, we're not covering the 5A, but Coach Thompson, the first game without Coach Thompson, and they're switching up their offense a little bit. So they're not running what Thompson, traditionally ran for all those years. It's going to probably take some time for them to kind of get that going.
Yeah. As far as our Loudoun County coverage went, we've reached out to a few people in Loudoun County to kind of talk about Loudoun County. If anybody out there knows, especially I think Loco Football, I think is a really popular site out there. We would love to talk to somebody about Loudoun County. Again, sure. we are two full-time school teachers and just don't have the time to invest in. We're already stretched pretty thin as it is. But if you have some people out there who know a little about Loudoun County football, if you can DM us, let us know, and we'll definitely bring you on because we like football though. We may be stretched pretty thin, but we like football and we want to hear.
And
about
we like
football
Nova football. And
we do like Nova football.
Definitely Nova. People could be snobs about things, making those cutoffs. Someone was like, "Well, isn't somebody wrote yesterday on social media and they said, technically is JMU and no, Harrisonburg is not Northern Virginia." That's not even
how far is that from here? I don't know because too
far. Okay, I screwed up. I screwed up with I'll own Rock Ridge. All right, I own the Rock Ridge incident. That was my okay. That was my Waterloo. All right, I messed up on Rock Ridge, but I sure as heck know that Harrisonburg is not Northern Virginia. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for it.
No, it's not. It's not. It's fact. It's fact.
I took your word. I took your Rock Ridge, and that place is on the other side of Dulles Airport. So I'll take.
I messed up on Rock Ridge, but I agree with you on Loudon. We do want to get Loudon, and I'm learning more about Loudon. I know where Rock Ridge is now. I mean, so we're learning day by day, by day.
Yeah.
By day. We're learning more about the area.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so that was kind of the Fab Four, right?
Yeah.
Jalen, I was going to say, Chris Webber got hurt, so we had four. We didn't have the Fab Five. We had the Fab Four, but we want to kind of talk about the other games quickly.
The Fab Four, the Beatles.
No, the Fab Five was Michigan. I said Chris Webber got hurt.
But the Fab Four are the Beatles, and I'm not dissing that team because I love that team because that's my era. But the Beatles have some of the greatest bands of all time.
Is that with Best playing the drums, or is that
no? It was with Ringo Starr.
Did you know Best is the name of the guy who played the drums before him?
Yes, I did know that. And then he made the worst choice of his life.
That's a tough decision there. All right, so let's go down the slate here, and we can talk about about some of these games. Herndon, and this is where I would play the NFL primetime music as we kind of go over these games. Herndon, 44-6 over Justice. What do you got there?
Herndon played all their guys in the half, pulled their guys in the second half. Herndon, one of the favorites to win the Liberty, definitely looking for a region title this year. I think we're going to try to catch some more Herndon games this year. But again, we're stretched pretty thin, and so Herndon for the last 2 weeks has looked pretty good.
Yeah, and Justice is a work in progress. Remember, Coach started late. Late hire. He's you got to give him time. Absolutely. All right. Scrolling down, Yorktown versus your Woodson Cavaliers, my friend.
So there have been some things going on at Woodson that have been pretty tough, right? With Coach stepping down. Those kids fought back.
Yeah.
It's tough to remove ourselves from it because we know those kids personally.
Well, we were there. We got to see that game up close.
Yeah. I thought Gabe Castro looked really good. I thought he looked really good. I thought defensively they played the run really well.
They did.
That defensive line did really well. I thought that Will Lee, we can call him now for names because we know these kids. I thought Will Lee looked pretty tough. Linebacker. Yeah, I thought Will looked really tough. I like the way Trey looked. Trey Harper. Yeah, I thought they played the run really well. They looked really stout defensively against the run against a Yorktown team that's really good.
Yeah,
that's really good. So I thought they looked they had some really good drives. Bryce Goldstreet looked good, really tough run the ball.
Yeah,
as well. So
Yorktown tight ends, you get to see them in action.
Yeah, a couple of those runs that kid had. Not Triano, the other one.
Brady Owens.
Why do you think Crosby? I don't know. Yeah. But he had a couple runs where he was taking multiple people to bring him down. And he's not a small guy. So I thought that the quarterback. Go ahead.
Well, Finn Luca, the receiver, he had 4 catches, 108 yards. Outstanding day, receiver.
The quarterback had I think he had 3 touchdowns on the day as well. Drew Morgan, right? Like 268, three touchdowns. And they threw the ball a lot. They just kept on running waggle. Seems like every other play, and it was. And he looked good. He looked really good.
Yeah, Yorktown looked good.
And they're big. And they're
very big. That's some big linemen. That left tackle was enormous. You got to get his name. It's a big guy. That's the other thing. Send us these rosters. We need coaches. We need these rosters. I'd love to give credit to that lineman we're talking about, but I don't know his. I just know he was a big son. It looked like Jim Lachey out there. This guy. He did, man.
He did.
And to your point, talking about Woodson, I do want to get a couple words in there. tough week last week for Woodson. Coach Pilson on the fly, kind of taking that the head coaching job, and he had his boys ready to play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. They played hard for 4 quarters. Very similar to the we're just talking about the Westfield game, right? Westfield versus Patriot.
Yeah.
Right. Similar scores, right? I think one was 42-21, one is 44-27. So similar scores, and similar situation in the fourth quarter. But Woodson did not give up. They could have hung their heads, but they did not. They kept fighting. That's a testament to the kids and to Coach Pilson and the coaching staff.
Absolutely.
They fought hard. So job well done over there.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right. Going down the slate, continuing to go down the slate. Falls Church and Chantilly. Chantilly with a 42-0 win there. What do you got there? Anything?
Well, I think we talked about Mantry, right? Mantry had a huge first half.
Yeah.
Looked like they called off the dogs in the second half. My man Colgan is definitely a work in progress over there. But that Chantilly team looks like they're ready to try to take that next step, right? They're looking to make the playoffs this year. You
thought you got a quick little glimpse of the running back over at Chantilly?
Yeah, he looked pretty good. It looked a little different than the running back I think I saw against Yorktown.
Okay.
Now maybe it was the same guy. I'm not sure. Again, I couldn't tell numbers, but he looked a little bigger than the one they had before.
We need those rosters, right? We need those rosters.
We need rosters. 100%. We need rosters.
Let's see here. Maybe the upset of the week. I don't know much in week 1 to call it the upset of the week, but at least I know you were really high on one of these teams, and they're on the short end of the stick here. Osborne 38, your South Lake Seahawks 21.
Now, I remember Carl said he was big on Osborne. I think I remember.
Big. You're right.
Big on Osborne. We don't know a lot about Osborne. We're hoping to learn some more about that little outside of our wheelhouse. But it's really shocking because I thought South Lakes looked really good in their scrimmage that I watched.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you said that about Carl, because Carl, same way you were kind of high on South Lakes going in, he was really high on Osborne going in.
Yeah. And I think this goes again to go ahead. A lot of big wins for Prince William versus Fairfax this week.
Yes.
Right. Lot of big wins.
I'm going to ask it right now. If things keep going this way, Coach Oakton, if you're listening, is PW where the big boys play? I'll have to ask you if things continue.
Well, and I think I talked to you a little about this, and I'll take myself outside the Virginia paradigm.
Sure.
You start to see, about, I want to say like the late 90s, people started moving outside of LA County just because of the cost of living, and were able to find cheaper housing. And it wasn't cheap housing. It wasn't like, it was smaller houses. It was
right, but inside the Beltway versus outside the Beltway.
Yeah, right. So a lot more newer developments, a little more bang for your buck. People are able to afford homes that maybe couldn't afford a home in the greater LA, Orange County. They try to move outside to San Bernardino County, or what's called the Inland Empire, for those of you guys who are from California. And then about the late 90s, early 2000s, you start to see this uprising of really good football out there. Corona Centennial being the one. Those of you guys who know anything about Southern Cal football, they were one of the innovators of the no huddle in high school. Like they used to light and fast. They do a lot of innovative. They were still doing a lot of innovative stuff, and they're still now they to this point have become a power in CIF, which is our VHSL football. So I think maybe you're seeing that, right, with the influx of people coming into Northern Virginia. I know that you know a little bit about the real estate market here in Northern Virginia, and how the housing prices are becoming a little bit. I'd imagine 20 years ago, if someone told you how much these houses cost around here, you'd have been like, no, there's no way. There's no way that people are going to pay that kind of money, but they are now at this point. That we can get into the politics of the housing market. So you have people who still want DC, people still working there, and so they're like, well, I think I'll just eat the hour-long commute in order to make sure that we have a nicer home. And so I think that's what you might be seeing in like Prince William. Like if you go to Stafford, so I remember my wife and I were going to a store. There was something we were going to buy, and the amount of new housing projects, that housing developments that are happening in like that area, right, southern Prince William County and the start of Stafford County, is amazing. I mean, and really not brand new shopping centers, and because of the rapid transit that they have coming into the city, you now can live there. You don't have to drive. You jump on a train. You You don't have to worry about that, and then you get off there. And I think that's probably what you're seeing with these teams that before were smaller schools now are just busting at the seams, right?
Yeah, I think and that's a great off-season conversation. And I think another part of that is people not having to go into the office at all anymore. If you don't need a freaking commute, right? Then why not?
Why not get yourself a house 1,000 square foot bigger with a giant backyard where you can enjoy yourself, right?
But I'd like to continue that conversation, and that's a great. I got a lot of thoughts on that in the offseason. We'll talk about all that. Continuing, maybe the high score of the week. Actually, it is the high score of the week. Marshall, who you were very high on coming into this game, 79-6. What do you think about that?
Ooh. I mean, I'm a sucker for the option, if you're not if you're not ready for it, it is a long day for you.
Yeah. We like Annandale. We like Annandale.
We did, and I think you talked before that Nova football is better when Annandale football is good, and so, but Marshall is beginning the season the way they ended the season, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right. So they're kind of continuing on. It looks like they may have righted the ship, and we talked before about historically, Marshall's never really bad. They're never really bad. They had I think maybe a couple of years where they weren't doing great, but they may have returned to form.
Yeah, and Annandale again, year 2 for coach. Give him some time, let him kind of get go through it here. It's gonna take a little time, kind of put his stamp on things over there at Annandale. All right.
I'm sure if someone from Marshall would have tweeted us, I'm willing to bet somebody at Marshall had a big day.
I know.
There's only 72 points, and everybody has the average day.
Right.
Somebody had a big day for that squad,
Right. There's probably some good highlights there too, right? But you got to communicate, right? You got to talk.
Yeah.
All right. WNL 49, Edison 13.
Yeah, I watched that game. Man, they're explosive.
Yeah.
They were scoring from any point in the field. While the highlight of the game goes, the highlight comes from the other side from Edison. WNL they were taking screen passes and just going to the house. So I'm sure some of those guys would have tweeted that stuff. I saw it, but I do want to try to keep myself as a unbiased judge on it. But they were explosive. Man, they were explosive.
Well,
from any point of view.
To me, that's a big statement game. That's a solid Edison team there. And WNL, everyone's got the questions, was it a fluke last year? Can they do it again? Well, that's a big way to start the season off, right?
Yeah. See, actually, do I have my notes for that here? I thought I might.
And I told you, Mrs. Dash is a WNL grad. The original Mrs. Dash is a WNL grad. My mom. So my mom and my wife are both WNL grads. So there's a little love for WNL, somewhere in the Dash family.
Yeah. But yeah, they had really explosive plays. I mean, they were hitting big chunk plays. I mean, it looks like so, and that was kind of, and when we put the articles up probably today or so, that was one of the things, right? You have two schools that had historic seasons, right?
Right.
Where are you gonna end up at? It looks like WNL it looks like they're going to continue on. I mean, just based on one game, things could change, but it looks like they're ready to take that next step as well.
Yeah. All right. Lewis 20, Parkview 0. Lewis starting off, Coach Choate started off on the right foot. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, our hope is, Coach Choate is able to continue building a program out of there. We don't know a lot about Parkview, unfortunately.
Right.
And I don't think that game was on NFHS either. I don't think I was.
I didn't see it, but good start for Coach. Look, you got to play who's on your schedule. You got to play who's on your schedule. Parkview's also and they're kind of rebuilding and they're trying to do things the right way, and it's going to take some time. But Lewis has gone through that. Lewis has been through those days.
Yeah.
So Coach Choate is kind of trying to build something there, and that's a great way to start things off.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
All right. Meridian, or formerly George Mason High School. That's how you probably know them as. But Meridian versus McLean. McLean won 33-13.
Yeah. One of our highlights of the week, right? Their running back, Noah Yander. Again, might be a soft J. Who knows? Had a really good run out of it. Meridian, a 5-18. Am I mistaken?
Yeah.
And again, playing
5 or 4, but yes, not 6.
Playing who's on your schedule. We talked before about WNL and Edison having historic seasons. McLean also, right? Having a huge season. It looks like they've got off on the right foot.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like you said, McLean trying to prove. Talking about WNL a second ago. McLean's trying to prove that it wasn't a fluke last year. That's a great way to start things off.
Yeah, man. The Liberty's going to be a dogfight, isn't it?
Liberty, man, that's tough. Give me Liberty or give me football. All right, here we go. Get Colonial Forge 22, Woodbridge 21. Man, nail biter.
So that was a game, right, where Woodbridge goes for 2 at the very end to win the game.
That's what someone said. Is that what happened?
That's what I thought. I saw on Twitter. I always think it's interesting because there's some coaches out there who are like, look, if we got a chance to win with no time left, let's just try to end it. Let's the ball's in our hands. We have control of the game. Let's see if we can end the game. Now you wonder, Coach Jerry Jaso, who was a longtime head coach at Long Beach Poly, when they got ready for big games, he would spend probably 20 minutes of practice of going over their 2-point game, whatever their 2-point conversion play would be to win the game. Because his philosophy was, if I have the ball in my hand with a chance to end it, I'm not going to leave it to chance. I'm not going to give you an opportunity to get the ball back and win the game.
Right.
And I think that that probably was their thought process. Let's see if we can end this game now. But another impressive outing right there for the good old Cardinal district that you seem to have slandered so much that Coach Overton has your face on a dartboard and is throwing it at
buddy. I'm a show to me kind of guy, right? Where's the show me state? Who's the show me state?
Missouri, isn't it Missouri?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm a Missouri guy. I'm a show me kind of guy. They're showing me. So you know what? I'm a believer now. I'm a believer. But you got to keep it up now. It's only week 1. They got to keep it up. It's a long season.
Yeah.
It's a long season. Let's go. Well, we got Fairfax is going to Wakefield.
Wakefield.
Being played on Monday. That was stormed out.
A little Monday night party, huh?
Monday night football.
Yeah, little Frank Allen Dan, right?
Yeah, got to get things started.
That's for the old guys out there. I mean, it's the really old guys. It's a good old Dandy Dan, Howard Cosell and Frank Gifford. But for us, for our age, it is Frank Allen Dan.
Frank and Allen.
You know what? And I think they got a lot of slander they didn't deserve. There are a lot of people like, oh, they're terrible, and I'm like, what are you talking about? They're great.
No, they were good. Let me put it this way: the lack of quality is so bad now. People would kill to have Frank and Allen Dan nowadays.
Things
have gotten bad. Things have gotten really bad. But yeah, that should be a good one. We'll see what happens.
Carl Frederick will be at the game.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna see if we can get the incomparable Carl Frederick, Nova's Adam Schefter. Maybe do a little live tweet of that one. Kind of keep everyone in the loop. We're excited to see this new Wakefield team, Clarence Martin in year 2 versus this reloaded Fairfax, and this should be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
And then the last one that I have, at least, and reached out to some coaches about this one and never heard back. At least, at the time of filming this, at least I hadn't heard back. Was Centerville 20, 10 AC. Sounds like a dogfight, man. Sounds like a pretty good game, but I don't really know what happened. I looked at the box score that I saw. I don't even know if you never know what's accurate online,
right?
But the box score that I saw, I think, had it a 1-score game going into the 4th quarter, and then they kicked a field goal and then made it a 10-point game in the 4th. So, but that's all I got. I looked on social media. I didn't see any highlights from any kids. I didn't see any coaches. So I didn't see anything. I even have a buddy of mine who's a Centerville dad of a cheerleader, but cheerleaders didn't even go to the game when they rescheduled it on Saturday. So he didn't even go to the game. I was going to reach out to him and see, if he could tell me, what happened. So if you know anything about the Centerville AC game, you can kind of, go right in the comments and let us know how that game kind of went, who stood out on both teams, that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, hopefully we can hear it back from them. We'd love to hear how Coach Shields did over against AC, which we haven't seen a lot of AC. We had heard some reports about AC, and I think we saw a highlight.
Justice.
Sorry, with Justice.
The Justice scrimmage.
Yeah. And then we saw highlights, and it looked like that was not this. It was a different set of kids. It looked like, so I don't know what we're looking at.
Well, that's the problem with the scrimmage, right? You don't know Are you watching the JV kids? Are you watching maybe even freshman kids in the scrimmage? Like who have they put in at this point? So, it'd be interesting to know, who's out there right now. Right. So maybe we'll hear back from that one later. We will do our week 2 preview episode will come out Wednesday.
Yeah.
So and we hopefully we'll have some information by then about some of those teams.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, my friend, week 1 is in the books.
It is.
Except for Fairfax. But week 1 is in the books.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, finally got to see some football, and I think you and I have a way too early rankings. Is that what we have right now?
We have some power rankings. Ooh-wee. Hot off the press right here, buddy.
Am I going first or you going first? Are we going to go tit for tat? What are we doing?
Let's go tit for tat. Let's go.
Are we going to go Casey Kasem, go from the bottom up?
Yes.
All right.
Give me your honorable mentions.
So my four that are outside looking in right now out of my top 10 are are West Springfield. They play, but I was really impressed kind of what they did. Marshall, big win. Go ahead, give me the other two. Let me think if
I went 5 honorable mentions, but because I'm a very generous individual.
Yeah.
Like the valet drivers in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I am a very generous individual. Yorktown, Osborne, Langley, Chantilly, and West Springfield. West Springfield, the only one who lost on that list, but I think a lot of teams would have allowed a lot more points and might have not even scored against that Hayfield team. So I'm giving them some love. That was a tough game in week 1, and I saw a lot out of that West Springfield. If they can stay healthy, that's a good team.
Yeah, Colonial Park. I mean, not Colonial Park. Forest Park.
Okay.
Forest Park was my other one. Those 3 teams that I thought, the two of them didn't win, and then Marshall with a huge win. But I thought, both of them played some pretty tough teams. But those are my 3 right now.
Okay.
Westfield. I think Westfield played what I thought what
right.
was in my current top 10, right? So Westfield is in my current top 10. So there's my 4.
So Westfield was sort of similar to West Springfield, right? They played a tough opponent, right? Yeah. Showed you a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. 10. Start at
10. WNL.
I got Marshall.
I got WNL's my 10. All right.
I get it. Marshall scored 80, so that trumps yours. So I'm going to go with mine is better.
All right.
All right. 9. What do you got for 9?
Garfield. I like Garfield a lot. I got Garfield at 9.
Great minds think alike, buddy. And you and I did not talk about this. Garfield 9.
Okay. All right. Am I at 8?
8.
South County. South County's my 8.
Herndon. I like Herndon.
Okay. So for me, I got Herndon above. I got Herndon at 7.
Okay, so we did a flip flop there. I have Soco at 7.
Okay. 6. I got Gainesville.
Okay, I think we're gonna do another flip here. I think I got 6. I got Lake Braddock, the Bruins.
Oh, that's all right. At 5, I got Patriot.
Okay, I at 5 I went Gainesville.
All right. 4, I got Lake Braddock.
I went Patriot.
Okay.
That they looked. I mean, that from what I saw in that Westfield game, that looked like a power. I could have gone higher with Patriot probably.
Yeah. At 3, I got Madison.
Oh, look at that! Great minds think alike. I got Madison at 3. That's a great. I mean, the StoneBridge win is impressive.
Yeah. At 2, I think we might have the same ones. I feel like we're
going to finish off. Yeah.
I think the top 3 are pretty easy.
Yeah.
And in reality, you could probably mix up 2 and 3, but I got Battlefield.
I had Battlefield at 2. I was going to try and be controversial and do some kind of last minute flipping around here, but I went with the these are solid picks. Yeah, 2 Battlefield. And
at number 1, I have St. John Bosco out of Bellflower, California.
There it is.
Because they own everybody. They come to your state and just I'm just kidding. Sorry, a little West Coast bias for me. No,
SoCal,
at number 1 is Hayfield.
Hayfield at 1.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what that's going to play into this is kind of us having fun with this top 10. I think the way I'm going to judge this also week to week, you'll see some moving. Even if you were at 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, and you won,
Yeah.
If I see someone below you playing some tough opponents that they're beating them, they're going to move up.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, buddy. Well, it's time to get the show on the road here, buddy. We're going to start putting stuff away. I'm going to go drink some pumpkin spice because it's now September. And I'm going to.
It is September.
Yes.
But before we go, I'm just going to update this right now. Owen Morris now has jumped to a 50 vote lead.
Wow. Where's
Steve Karnacki? I need to start Steve Karnacki on the board.
Yes. Well, Steve Karnacki's buying new Gap slacks before the election.
Yeah. So Owen Morris, the Edison community has come out in force.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Latest voting coming in from Alexandria has him. They got some mail-in ballots maybe coming in. I don't know.
Stop the count, buddy. Stop the count. It's over. All right. Well, it's been fun. Can't wait to see you on Wednesday when we go over our games.
So no one's listening to us. No one's listening to us right now. But we did again. We keep on forgetting to do this. Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Subscribe.
Follow us on social media.
Subscribe.
If you're listening to this right now, tweet at us. Say yes, I still listen at the very end. Yes. I don't just stop listening.
And subscribe. Please subscribe.
Yes. Please.
We had we almost broke a record. We're on pace for 1,000 views, over the next 5 days on the last episode. Yet, the subscribers don't match the which I get it. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be totally honest. I never used to subscribe to things. I'd listen to something on YouTube or watch something, and I never subscribe. So I understand. But now that you kind of know, you kind of get to know the guys behind the mic. Please subscribe. Please subscribe.
Help us out.
Yes.
Help us prove that this is a viable thing that people want in Northern Virginia. Because again, our website and our podcast will always be free. We're never no paywall, but we've got to figure out some things and really know, is this at all worth it?
I think that's kind of already been answered. I mean, there's a need and there's a want for it. Now I think the question is, fine tuning it, right? Like what is it exactly people want? What do they don't want? Right.
Right.
And we're going to find that out over the next, several months, the next 2-3 months, we're going to find out exactly, what hits, what doesn't hit, what sticks, what doesn't stick, that kind of thing.
Right.
So please subscribe. You heard the man. Subscribe.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, folks. Well, we will see you in a few days and talking about week 2. Week 2.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, Coach Mesa, I'll see you next time, buddy.
Yeah. Let's make like a tree and get out of here.
All right, like Biff Tannen. All right, folks. Well, thanks for joining us on All Hitches. We'll see you next time.
See ya.